So I keep meaning to do a bookshelf tour video, but every time I think about doing it, I remember how many books I own. And thinking about the filming for that, going through every single book and the editing for it just makes me fearful for my life, because I feel like I'm just gonna I'm gonna get halfway through something and I'm not gonna do it. So instead of doing it all in one go, I've decided that I'm gonna do a bookshelf tour, and I'm going to pick one shelf. I just walked into something. I'm going to pick one shelf, and that's going to be the shelf that you guys get to see. So let's start this time with, and I'm going to go back up on the stairs that I just tripped over. We're going to start with my Tor shelf, which is the top bookshelf. This is mostly fantasy from Tor, so yeah, let's go through them. So first up we have The Stone in the Skull by Elizabeth Bear, and this is a high fantasy, but the main character is actually kind of an automaton robot kind of thing, so it's a little bit different than what we've seen before. I've actually not read this book. I really do want to though, so hopefully I'll get to that soon. Next we have The Atlas Six, The Atlas Paradox and The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. I have read these. I really enjoyed the book series. I really liked the first one. By the end, I didn't enjoy the last one as much, but I really enjoyed kind of the trilogy on its own. I've also got one for My Enemy. As you can see, I started reading it and have not finished reading it, so I'm not fully sure what it's about, but yeah, it's going to be a good read, hopefully. Then we have The Library of the Dead by T.L. Hoshu. This book is about someone who can speak to the dead. I haven't read this book yet, so I'm not fully sure. Then we have Raw by Cora Carmack. I actually got this in, I think, Fairyloot a few years ago, and I really enjoyed the premise. It's about kind of a magical storms and weather magic, and the main character, if I remember correctly, I read it a few years ago, the main character I really enjoyed reading. I have The Wolf by Leo Carew. I actually haven't read this yet. I think this is actually the third book in a series, but the reason why I haven't read it yet is because I was waiting to get the other books in the series before so I could read them as a whole. I then have The Wanderer's Tale by David Bilsborough. I got this book when I was probably like 12 or 13. I could not tell you what it's about, but it's one of those books that I think I picked up when I was really young, and I still want to read it. I'm still going to get around to reading it. It's one of those books that I just haven't gotten to yet. The next we have To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. So this is from Christopher Paolini, which is the same author as from Aragorn Eldest, etc. This was, I think, his first sci-fi novel, and it was the sci-fi novel he brought out before he started writing more books in the kind of fantasy series. It was really interesting. I read this one and The Doors of Eden, which is next to it, at the same time because I was just really on a big sci-fi binge, and I really enjoyed both of them. But I'll be honest, I cannot tell you the difference between them right now because I read them so close together a few years back. So yeah, Doors of Eden by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I love Adrian Tchaikovsky's writing. I've got so many of his other books, both sci-fi and fantasy, in the rest of my shelves. I definitely recommend, if you're a big sci-fi fan, to read some of his books. And we've also got Shards of Earth and the Eyes of the Void, which are 2 books in a series from him as well. These are big sci-fi space operas, really fun to read. We have The Unspoken Name by A.K. Lockwood. I haven't read this one, but this is basically, there's like a death cult, I think. Let me look at the back. Yeah, there's a death cult, and then our main character goes to sacrifice themselves on their 14th birthday, but they don't, and they go on a bit of an adventure. And this is one of the books I was looking forward to reading. I've just not done it yet. And then we've got A Memory Called Empire, and actually I've not read this one either. But this is another sci-fi book. I believe there's more books in the series that I think I have some of those books somewhere else, I think. So if I do go to read these, I will be reading them all together. And then last but not least, I have Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth. I don't have Nona the Ninth, which I need, but these are like space necromancers, which is always something a little bit different. I definitely recommend it if you like high fantasy and sci-fi. It's a really fun read, and I really love the characters. So yeah, this shelf is also double stacked, so let's take these books off and get behind them. Okay, so the first and last books on the Tor shelf are these David Weber books. I haven't read these. I got them from my aunt, who got them in a charity shop, and she saw them and went, yeah, Becky will like them. So that's why I've got them. I really need to get back into my like sci-fi reading habit, because then I'll finally read a lot of the books on this shelf, to be fair. And then we went into, I think, Pan Macmillan books. Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik is a really great kind of fairy tale-esque book. It's about a character who can turn things into silver and that kind of magic, I think. No, so she can't actually turn things into silver, if I didn't remember that correctly. It's she convinces people she can turn silver into gold, and it's kind of like a moneylender scheme because her father is a moneylender. But yeah, it's very fairy tale like. Naomi Novik's writing is just really good. Next I have Pretty Twisted, and actually I haven't read this book and I don't think I would. It looks like a thriller. Let me read the back. Yeah, so I got this book, it must have been when I was a lot younger. It's a teen book, so I must have got it when I was a kid. I'm probably going to actually get rid of this one. Like, let's just take that away. Next we have Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I really love this. I read this when it first came out. I read it on my Kindle when it first came out, and then I got the book. Really great magic system, really interesting characters. I haven't actually read the second book in the series. I think there's a second, maybe a third book as well. But it's definitely one that I need to get back to because I find it really interesting. We then have the Black Book of Secrets and The Bone Magician, both by F.E. Higgins. This is a series of books, and I think I've read a Black Book of Secrets but not a Bone Magician. I got these when I was so young. I got these when I was like 14. I don't remember what they're about. Okay, I've read a little bit about them, and basically this book is about a character who's like a pawnbroker but for secrets and takes down confessionals from people. And then the Bone Magician is about bone magic. That dropped. But yeah, they're both about different kind of dark magic, and it's quite a grim, dark world, but for younger readers. So if you're into that, you'll like it. Next we have Three Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake. I have not read this book. I remember when it first came out and everyone was hyping it up. Honestly, that put me off because I was like, I don't want to go into this and it be overhyped. I might end up reading it. I might not. We'll see. But yeah, it's kind of like, it was before I think romantasy was a thing, but there's like 3 sisters, 1 throne, fight to the death, and I think there's some romance in there too, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. And then next we have Gilded Cage by Vic James, and I got this for free, I think through a Goodreads competition. I don't remember what this one's about either, but I remember it's kind of fantasy-esque, so let's read the back. Okay, yeah, so it's about 10 years of slavery for magically gifted people, and then rebellion as well to kind of get rid of the slavery. I get why I probably didn't read this one. I might actually get rid of this one. I don't think I want to read it. But yeah, I got this in 2017 when the copy came out as competitions. And then I have A Deep Light by Frances Hardinge. I have not read this one yet, but I've heard really good things. So yeah, it's about kind of the sea, the undersea. There's scavengers. Our main characters are trying to like find things to stay alive. It reminds me a little bit of Fable, if you've read that, but there's also kind of something goes wrong and they have to go into the undersea as well. So I think anything that's kind of under the sea gives me like a little bit horror-y vibes, but this is mostly fantasy from what I remember hearing about it. But yeah, I need to read this one soon. And then last but definitely not least is The Dragonfly Pool by Eva Ibbotson. I read this when I was like 10. It was one of my favourite books. It still is one of my favourite books, I think, just from the nostalgia. I just really enjoyed how it was written. I really enjoyed the storyline. I cannot tell you what the storyline is right now because it's been so long since I read it, but this is one of the books that kind of pulled me into being a proper reader when I was younger and not just reading other kids' books. So let's quickly look at the blurb as well. I don't remember the plot of this at all, but it's about kind of kids in a boarding school. They find the Dragonfly Pool. It's kind of their place away from everything. And then, yeah, I remember I really loved this book, so you should definitely read it. So there you have it. There's the first shelf of my bookshelf tour series. Which one of these books do you think I should read next? Because I realised a lot of these books I haven't actually read. Are there any that you think I should probably get rid of if I've not read them? Or are there any that you've really loved on this shelf? Let me know in the comments.